this is Trinesha Catrell, and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about staying ready. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. Okay, so today I was reading the Bible early this morning and I was reading from Matthew 3. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to make it into like a quick spiel so you can catch up and everything, right? So this is the part where Joseph and Mary, they have Jesus. And so in Matthew 3, it talks about how John the Baptist is going around baptizing people. He's talking about how good it is to be able to do this thing for God. And the next thing you know, Jesus comes along, right? And he's talking about his sandals. I'm not even worthy to loose. I'm not even worthy to put my hands on his sandals or like be in his presence, period. And so then Jesus comes and he's like, I need to be baptized. And John the Baptist said, I can't do that. Like me, I'm nobody. Why are you asking me to do it? Like, yeah, people like me and stuff like that, but I'm not you, Jesus, right? And so then when Jesus is like, okay, well, I need to do and be about my father's business. So I need you to do me this thing, right? And so John the Baptist is like, okay, I'm going to baptize you. Next thing you know, heavens open up. And then God says, this is my son who I am well pleased. And it really taught me a lot about being humble and staying ready. John the Baptist was already in purpose even before Jesus came along. And I feel like that's how we need to be in life. Always being ready, always being prepared, always staying ready. Because you never know when you're going to be called into purpose. You never know when that position that you've been applying for is going to open up. You never know when your kingdom spouse is going to come along. You never know when God is going to open up an opportunity for you that he has for you, but he can't give it to you if you're not already in preparation for it. Sometimes we are the ones standing in our own way of getting the things that God has for us because we are not getting prepared. Because we feel like God just gonna throw it in our lap and give us things that we don't deserve. Like because we're Christian and I used to believe this, I used to think, oh well now that I've rededicated my life to God, I'm good. And I was like, and then one of the first biblical scriptures I read says faith without works is dead. I'm like, okay, well I can't just be good without putting forth that work. I got to put in that work if I really want to be about this God life, if I really want to receive all of the blessings that God has for me. And so it really taught me a lot about myself. And before I really got into like the groove of things of being Christian and everything and having a relationship with God, I really was not expecting anything. Like I was feeling like God was like people and he was just going to do the bare minimum, maybe say he's going to do something and not come through. Maybe, and I have people that actually do follow through on their actions in my life. But for the most part, most people will say they'll do something and they won't follow through with it. They'll pretend like they're into doing all of these things, but they won't be about that life. It's always things like that. And so I was putting this human standard on what God can do. Like this I was just like I was decreasing God into like a little box of this is all God can do in my life. And the whole time God could do all of these things. Like he could do so much. I can't even imagine the things that God can do in my life. And so I feel like whenever we're in life, we really have to take a moment and say, are we really preparing for the things that we want in life? Like if you want, are you really keeping it clean? Are you really cleaning the car that you have? If you really want to live a better life, are you really doing the things to live a better life right now? Because if you don't treat yourself well, why do you think God will send you somebody else? If you don't respect and honor and appreciate the things that you already have, why would God give you more of that? God is not going to bless a mess. He's not going to bless you so that you can be unappreciative of even more things in life. He's only going to bless you with more when you're really being a good steward. And I have to say this because some people feel like being a good steward is being holier than thou. Some people feel like being a good steward means that you do nice things for people. It is not about you looking like you do good things. It is about you being good to yourself. Are you treating yourself with honor and respect? Are you really putting up healthy standards and boundaries so that God can give you other people and places and things in your life? because he's not going to give you his child. He's not going to give you an opportunity if you have something else in its place that doesn't belong there. You have to really release the things in your life that are not serving you, that are not serving the kingdom of God, that are not allowing you to be a better person in your life. If you are friends with somebody and they only want to talk about the things that you used to do and you are no longer that person, and you're trying to do better, you're trying to be a better person, then you probably have to find a new friend group. I'm sorry to say it like that, and I'm not saying just cut off everybody. I'm just saying that when you really want better in your life, you have to really determine if these things are going to help you become a better person or if they're going to hold you back. And it may suck, it may hurt, you may have like a lonely season for like a week, a month, a year. But God will make sure you have family members. He'll make sure you have other people in your lives that will still be able to be there for you. And it may not look the way that you want it to look, but it will be necessary until you can move to the next level. And also, you can always look for small groups. You can always go different places. You don't have to be in one little box saying, oh God, I went to the one place, so now all of a sudden I don't have nobody I can lean on. No, if that place doesn't work out, go to another place and don't feel like, oh, well, I don't want to go somewhere else because I need to stay here. If God didn't tell you to stay there, then go do what you need to do in the realm of God, in the realm of what God wants you to do in life. And so it's so funny because we really do be standing in our own way. We say we want a healthy relationship, but full of abundance, but yet we keep increasing the things that we can do in life. We keep on being lackful with the things that we want in life. We lay down before we have a chance to really get to the next level instead of going for the things that we want in life. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect over here because I've done all of those things. I've chosen the wrong thing. I've done the wrong thing. I've been the wrong place. I slept on myself because I wasn't looking at myself like God was looking at me. And I'm not saying it in a conceited, egotistical way. I'm saying that we are all God's children. And sometimes we forget that we are his child. Like, you really that person. You really can have an opportunity like that. You really can be in a relationship like that. You really can have all of these things that you aspire to have in life. You really can have. They are literally at your fingertips. But it's important to be humble and obedient to God, because God is not going to send you something big headed when you're big headed. God's not going to send you something when you are being unappreciative of the things that he's already blessed you with. God is not going to send you a bigger house when you don't clean the house that you're in. God is not going to send you a good person when you're not being a healthy individual, when you are not taking care of yourself. Because what else are you going to pour into somebody else if you're not pouring into yourself? If you are empty, you have nothing to give to anybody else. You really have to be so humble in the life that you have and so grateful and thankful that God literally is going to say, wow, she did this with the little that I gave to her. Imagine what she could do with even more. Imagine what this guy could do if he respects and honors himself, what he could do with the woman that I have for him. Imagine what this person, place, or thing could do in this position if they are already being a good steward of the things that I've already blessed them with. And I have an acronym that I think would be really helpful in remembering how to stay ready. It's going to take humility. It's the acronym spells huge. And so the H stands for humility. It is so important for us to have humble a humble heart, to really like go at the things that we want in life humbly, not like a, oh yeah, I got this is all about me, it's me. And I got to tell you a story because I really, but it is so crazy. I made this short and I went to go pick a song. It was supposed to be something encouraging for like self-love, but I didn't notice that the lyrics say something about selfishness. And we all know self-love is like a little selfish. But the point of the video or the short was not so that it could be, oh, this is how selfish I am. The point of the video was to say that you pouring into yourself is what matters, because the only way that you can take care of somebody else is if you take care of you first. That's why on the plane they tell you to give give yourself the oxygen mask so that you can help another person. That is why whenever you're swimming, they tell you to save yourself and then get help, or to help them after, because you can't swim with another person panicking. You can only swim, you can only get yourself to safety or help someone else after you've gotten yourself to safety. So it's so important for us to pour into ourselves. But my heart posture, I should have been more thorough in looking at and reading the words of the short before I put it out, first off. Secondly, I would needed to think, is this something that I really want to be a reflection of who I am? And the answer was no, because it looked more arrogant than humble. And that is not the type of person that I ever want to present myself to be. And so as I started to go back through, I took the short down. It did get a lot of views and everything else, but it's not about that. It is about being humble. It's about really having a good heart posture to receive the things that I want to receive in life, or the things that I need to receive in life in order to be in purpose. And so humility is the very first thing. Next is understanding. We sometimes get in our own way and start to think, oh, well, I think this, and this. Well, let me tell my point of view. Well, you know what? I got time today for this one. And the whole time, we should be seeking to understand. The whole time, it's not really our purpose or our point to just like point out how right we are, or to like win an argument or be the loudest person in the room. The point of the agreement or the point of the discussion is to have understanding, to seek understanding, to really try to understand where another person is coming from, because it could teach you a lot about yourself. It could teach you a lot about that person. You may think this person's just a grumpy person that just got a whole bunch of attitude, and the whole time they've been through a horrible life. Like it's been bad after bad after bad, and they got this attitude because nobody ever paid them any attention. They might have been ignored their whole life. They might have felt like inconvenient, but the whole time they mattered. So it's having compassion and understanding for other people really helps you, and it helps them. It helps them see that they're not invisible, and it helps you get an understanding for who the person actually is. That is the way to really stay ready. The next thing is giving. Some people will say, well, I give all the time, but how is your heart posture? Like if you're giving, like, huh, take this, or I did this for you, if you got to say I did anything for somebody, don't give to nobody. Like only give if your heart posture is going to be like, here you go, I really wanted to help you. Unless you got a joyful, cheerful, like you got that goodness in your heart, don't give nobody nothing, because don't nobody want that. Don't nobody want something from you if you're gonna be like, yeah, remember that time 3 years ago when I gave you that shirt? Remember that time 3 years ago when I let you borrow $100 and you ain't never paid me back? Like nobody wants to hear that. So if you're gonna give to somebody, give from a selfless, like just joyful, like you're doing this because you're giving it to them. You don't ever expect to get it back. You just giving this as a gift. Like that's how you gotta really think of it, because if not, your heart posture is gonna be all wrong. It's gonna be really affecting your your mindset. It's gonna make you think like negatively about the person. You're gonna start to think, well, they owe me this. Don't give that person anything. Like we don't need to have that type of energy in our life. If you really want to live a life of readiness, like you really want to be ready for whatever it is that is next level in your life, then just have a good heart posture and give it, knowing that you might never get it back. Give it like you are thinking about how you want to live your life and how you want God to see you, and not how you want other people to think of you in life. The last thing is excellence. Sometimes we feel like when we're doing stuff as a Christian, when we're doing stuff in relation to God, when we're doing stuff in life, we could just do the bare minimum. Like, I've been working at this 10 years, I could just do this. No, keep that same energy in the 10th year that you had in year one. Keep that same energy for God that you had when you was out in the world, how you were out with culture. If you out with culture and you could dance for 3 hours straight, dance in the kingdom for 3 hours straight. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that, but I mean to say it like that. Like whatever it is that you doing for good, and when you did it for evil, when you did it when you was on the other side, you gotta keep that same energy, because God deserves excellence. I used to think, well, I'm gonna sing, I could just sing and that's fine. Like, yeah, giving glory to God when you're singing in the choir or singing for God is good, but I also started taking voice lessons because I want to make sure that I'm giving God all that I got Even if my voice isn't like Patti LaBelle or Mariah Carey or something, I still want to make sure that God knows that I'm taking it serious. If He's asking me to do this, then He deserves excellence. If I want to be good in my business, then I deserve to put. I should be putting forth an effort like I really want this business to grow. Not like I'm just gonna be lackluster and just like, oh, it'll just happen just because I'm me. Like, no, I have to really put in that work. I have to really be intentional about the type of life that I want to live. And when you're thinking about the life that you want to live, you have to always be prepared. I'm not saying wear yourself to death and just do the most. I'm saying that be in preparation, be intentional, be committed, be consistent to the goal, to the plan, to what it is that you're trying to do in life. Because if you're putting all this energy into the wrong thing, imagine what you could have done if you would have put it into the right thing. Imagine where you could be relationship wise if you put in the right intentions. Imagine where you could be mindset wise if you weren't really just thinking about yourself. Imagine how much more you could prosper in life if you really just did things because you were keeping that same energy for good that you had when you was just doing whatever you felt like doing in the world, you know? And that's how I try to think about it now in this relationship with God. I try to think about it like, do I want to live a life where I'm miserable and I just do whatever I want and I feel unfulfilled? Or do I want to live a life where I'm actually being purposeful, where I'm actually being intentional about the type of future that I want to have, the type of legacy I want to leave behind? And when I think about it like that, if it takes the same amount of time, I'd rather have a good heart posture than to be negative and nasty and rude and just you know. I would rather be cheerful and joyful and appreciating and enjoying everything that life has to offer. Because I always used to say to make me make a good choice, what's the alternative? Either I'm going to get there with a nasty mindset, just down and out, just being like, woe is me, or I'm going to think positive and really just be happy and grateful for the life that I have. That's how you stay ready. Always being humble, always being understanding, always giving, and knowing that giving with a good heart posture is where it's at. And excellence, striving for the best version of yourself, not just the bare minimum. Like anybody could do bare minimum things, but if you really want to be that person, if you really trying to live the life of your dreams, then you got to give it the same energy that you gave it when you were out there just living however you felt like living. If you really want your kids to be proud of the person that you are, if you really want to be an example, like if if I had a son, would I want him to date somebody like me? That's the type of woman I want to be in my life. I'm not trying to be just any woman. If I'm meet a guy, I want that guy to be like how I would want my son to be. That's the type of guy that I would want my daughter to date in the future, not just any dude, you know? So you have to really think, what type of future are you trying to live, and stay ready. Because when you pray for it, it's on the way. The only thing blocking your blessing is you. When you start doubting yourself, when you stop preparing in the off season, when you don't clean the house that you have but you're praying for a mansion, when you don't take care of the car that you have and you miss several oil changes knowing that you got to get an oil change regardless, when you say, oh wow, I really want to be healthy by the summer and you just eat whatever you want, when you say you really want to have a good friend circle but you keep friends around that don't appreciate you or that are only talking negative to you, surround yourself with the things really true, the people that are going to be true blessings in your life, the opportunities. Everything in your life should be towards the future that you want to live. Your life is not a game. Sometimes we really act like it's a game. Like, oh, I have time to play with this. I have time to do all these things that are purposeless in life. But we don't have that time. We don't know how much time we have. So why not make the most of every single minute, hour, and day that we have so that we can live the life of our dreams? That's why you got to stay ready and always love yourself. Remember that. Bye.